When High on Life from developers Squanch Games released last year, it was a genuine surprise. While I acknowledge the humour isn't for everyone, it was a bright, bold and imaginative FPS and was a bit of a viral hit, particularly because it released straight onto Xbox Game Pass at the end of a very dry 2022 for Xbox fans. 9 months later, Squanch Games are now bringing us a sizable expansion with High on Knife, a story focused almost entirely on everyone's favourite sentient serrated blade, Knifey. Is it worth your pennies? Well, let's find out in the XboxEra review of High on Knife.
Let's go! Let's start this DLC, you bloody legend!
The story of High on Knife is set 2 years after the events of the main game. Jean is still legless and parked on the sofa in our house, and we're still a bounty hunter, doing what bounty hunters do. And let's acknowledge the elephant in the room. With Justin Roiland's departure from both the game and the studio, Kenny has been replaced with a new version of the same gun called Harper, voiced by Saturday Night Live's Sarah Sherman. The in-game explanation is that we accidentally dropped Kenny somewhere whilst bounty hunting, and we should really be more careful. Gatlians are sentient beings after all. Aside from that small acknowledgement, that's all the time that's spent on introducing Harper, and the game suffers not one bit from Roiland's absence. In fact, it's as funny as it ever was, and I'll touch on some of that offbeat humour in a moment. For this expansion, the focus is squarely on Knifey, voiced by Michael Cusack. While we were out on our last bounty hunting mission, delivery and shipping company Muxalon tried to deliver something to Knifey from his home planet. Excited about what it could be, we embark on a journey to Peroxis, the planet on which Muxalon is headquartered. Peroxis is a world of salt flats, hilariously populated by a group of slugs residing in Salt Lick City who absolutely refuse to believe it's making them ill in any way, shape or form. In a similar vein to the main game, it acts as a hub world of sorts, with plenty of amusing characters, collectibles and skits to discover. One particular highlight was a race against Slugstar, the self-proclaimed fastest slug in Salt Lake City. The par time I had to beat was 14 hours, and Slugstar's reaction to my inevitable victory was...
Oh God, jeez Louise, calm down, Slugstar, it's just a race.
Now, don't you fucking tell me to calm down, you piece of shit. Don't tell me to calm down. This is a fucking nightmare, can you understand that? Okay, this is my private fucking hell. This is the only thing I ever fucking cared about. I have a whole fucking family who loves me and would do anything for me. I don't even fucking think about them. I don't fucking think about those idiots, you know what? Because I'm thinking about racing, okay? Dedication, okay? Work ethic.
It's also here where you collect a new gun called Ball, powered by 3 very naked, gibberish-speaking aliens. It again shows some serious imagination from Squanch Games, as it acts like a pinball. Time your shots and you can reflect the ball again and again until it has enough kinetic energy within it that it simply explodes. It's a blast to use and became the weapon of choice for most of my time with High on Knife. There are a bunch of standout hilarious and what the fuck moments as we make our way to Muxalon, from talking to a giant alien named Toxo and having a relaxing bath in toxic waste, popping parasites, an utterly mental riff on the sitcom Cheers, which is located next to a giant anus, also featuring a definitely unlicensed Kelsey Grammer as Fraser, and lastly taking on ant poachers who keep raiding a humble Duffalo ranch. Things happen with a Duffalo that I don't think I can get into on YouTube without getting our account banned, but you'll find out for yourself. High on Knife was billed as having some horror tropes, and whilst that's kind of true, I wouldn't say I was particularly unsettled once I made my way through Muxalon HQ. It does have Squanch Games' twisted take on some of the tropes of the genre, with plenty of body horror and a nice nod to an Xbox franchise, Gears of War. Perhaps the real horror is working in a packing factory under indentured servitude, pressing 2 buttons to ship packages across the galaxy for all time. Sounds plenty horrific to me. If you loved High on Life, you will find plenty to love in this expansion, with new areas to explore, a host of new achievements, and a fairly sizable piece of narrative to go through. My biggest criticism comes from a lack of good reminders on how things work until you're quite a good way into your time on Peroxis. I mean, it's been nearly a year since I last played High on Life, and I'd completely forgotten almost everyone's unique abilities. The game does start delivering mini tutorials and reminders on those abilities eventually. Literally 3 minutes after I wrote that note down during my playthrough, they started popping up. The expansion does feel a little rough around the edges when it comes to performance, and with so many varied mechanics to contend with, later fights against many enemies can become more than a little chaotic. All in all though, I had a great time with High on Knife, and I do plan on going back in to clean up some undiscovered items, which thankfully the game allows you to do, even after completing the main questline. If you loved the offbeat humour, gross body horror and Rick and Morty style humour of the original game, you'll hardly be making a mistake picking this mini expansion up. It's Knifey's time to shine, or stab everyone, or both.
Wow, now we don't have to hate each other.
What the fuck is wrong with you? You're not part of the family anymore.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video review, be sure to hit like, hit subscribe, and hey, why not ring that notification bell so that we can let you know when we got some fresh content. And we'll see you next time.